and sisters. See, the commandments is going to bring the fruits of the Spirit out of you. That's what it's going to bring out of you. The commandments and the fruits of the Spirit is not the same. They work for you. They calmly together, but they not the same. Meaning like, hey, I could come to class and be keeping the Sabbath, but I could still have malice and hate in my heart towards brothers and sisters. That's just letting you know the fruits of the Spirit and keeping the commandments ain't the same. You're going to need to develop the fruits of the Spirit eventually. You're going to eventually need to develop that because now, hey, you got Jesus all the way in your mind. So now you're really walking like Christ. That's how you are now really walking like Christ. So eventually you're going to have to graduate, brothers and sisters, from just keeping the commandments. You're going to have to take your faith a couple steps and a couple of notches up. Because of the fact that, hey, you can still be having these thoughts within your mind that's malice. You can still be having these same idle thoughts. This is why, hey, you got to keep putting this word right here. So it says what? If you love me, keep my commandments, right? I'm going to skip down to now, verse 21. He that have my commandments and keep them, you got to keep. He it is that love me. Right here. And he that loves me, what? It shall be loved of my Father. And I will love him and will manifest myself to him, right? Look at who asked this question. Look at Judas. Said unto him, not Iscariot, meaning not Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed Christ, but another Judas. Lord, how is it that thou wilt manifest thyself unto us and not unto the world? See, you would think that, hey, Jesus is going to manifest himself into the whole world. You know, the whole world, they be having prayer days. All the religions come together and they have a prayer off. You know, when I was younger, you used to see them little marathons that used to be on TV. You know, people be calling up saying we're going to donate this and everybody just praying. But Jesus wasn't dealing with the world from that aspect. Nah, he wasn't making himself abode or manifest to the world. Only particular ones. So you got to realize, brothers and sisters, hey, God did not, you did not choose God. Keep that in your mind. You know, and we here today, hey, you didn't choose God. God chose you. You know what I mean? Like, you see how that works? Like, hey, he chose you. So don't sit here and think that, oh, man, I made a choice to go and serve God. Nah, brothers and sisters. Nah. He made the choice to choose you. So now by him choosing you, hey, you got to make this stuff count. You got to make it count. So even right here, hey, we see is that, hey, even Judas said, how is it that thou will manifest thyself unto us and not unto the world? Verse 23, Jesus answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and he will come unto him and make our abode with him. Right? I mean, he gonna come unto you. That's why you can't come to the Son except the Father draw you. You can't just accidentally, oh, I found Jesus. I just let you know right there. The Father drew you to the Son. Saying it right there. Why? Because, hey, you decided to circumcise the foreskin of that heart. We're going to read that. But look at this next book we finna go to. Look at this Psalms 119. I'm sorry, Psalms 111. Check this out. Psalms 111, right? Because, hey, for even some sisters, you know, there's sisters in here, they sharp with the word. You know, I see sisters on the doggone Facebook. I don't be on the Facebook, but there's some sharp sisters on the word, on the book and the word. You know what I mean? Some sharp brothers. But how did they get to be so sharp? Look at this Psalms 111. Psalms 111, I'm going to read 2 through 3 and I'm going to skip. Psalms 111, and it reads, the works of the Lord are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious. His righteousness endure forever. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see something. I just want to see something. Oh, okay, you good. I just wanted to make sure, because that wire come back out of there right quick. But it's okay, though. So it says in verse 3, his works is honorable and glorious. His righteousness endure forever, right? I'm going to skip down and read 9 through 10. It says, he sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever. So you got to realize, like, his covenant is what? Part of it, hey, keeping these commandments. The commandments is inside of this covenant, brothers and sisters. Holy and reverent is his name, right? Verse 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. This is why, hey, brothers and sisters, be sharp with the word, because they're keeping the commandments of God. This is why the Bible is like a parable to many people that don't keep the commandments. So you got to realize, like, this whole Bible is like a Rubik's Cubic. It really is. Like, everybody can't come and get this and understand it. Nah, this is a blessing, brothers and sisters. That's why, hey, in Isaiah 29, it lets you know, brothers and sisters, hey, that when you take the Bible to the one that is learned, he'll be like, hey, I can't read. The Bible is sealed. That's what he say. Isaiah 29, he'll be like, hey, man, hey, you take the Bible to somebody who is learned. Let's go and read that real quick. Isaiah 29. I'm quoting it. You know, let's just prove it. Hey, man, you saying that, but do it really say that? Let's go read it. Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29. See, hey, in verse, in Psalms 111, right? It just lets you know is that, hey, you got a good understanding. Why? It's because you keeping the commandments of God. You keeping the commandments of God, and this is why you got a good understanding. Just the random can't come in here and just, hey, break down the dietary law from Genesis to Revelation. Nah, that's gonna be foreign to them. They're gonna be like, man, what you talking about? I just had pork last night. You know, like, they ain't gonna get it. They're really not. But even when you take this to somebody who's learned, an ordained minister or a bishop or whatever the alphabet boys call themselves, you take it to them. Look at what the Bible says about it. Isaiah 29 and verse 10. I'll start at verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye, cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Just let you know, we ain't talking about no physical alcohol here, right? Verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers. The seers have he covered. See, the Lord don't put a deep sleep on these people out here, man. They're talking about they coming in the name of the Lord. They ain't teaching you no book. They ain't dealing with no commandments, so they don't have an understanding. We just read in Psalms 119, you got a good understanding when you keeping the commandments. So they ain't got no understanding because, hey, the Lord don't pour out upon them the spirit of deep sleep, right? Verse 11, and the vision of all has become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Pastor, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed. Yeah, you take this to Creflo Dollar. They'll be like, man, how much money you made this week? That's gonna be his concern, you know, because you got to realize, hey, the Bible is sealed to him because he ain't keeping no commandments. The Bible is sealed. Now you take it to somebody who ain't learned, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned. And this would be your backyard preacher. You know what I mean? Down there in the country. You know, he just feel like, hey, he need to be preaching the word. But even he isn't learned because he got the spirit of deep sleep on him. Just letting you know, brothers and sisters, hey, anybody can't just come and get this word how they think they can. Let's go over here now to 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. Because you could tell, hey, if people follow the Lord by the fruit that they bear. You can tell. Because people are giving away right out the gate. Right out the gate, they'll give it away. But look at this 1 John, though, chapter 2. As you read this to somebody, man, and it's in the New Testament, hey, boy, they might, I don't know, they might chase you or they might follow you until you get home. Who knows? But hey, you read something like this to somebody who go to Sunday school and it's in the New Testament, hey, you know how you feel when you be so mad you can't even swallow because you got that little lump in your throat. I know y'all don't had that before now. Don't act like y'all ain't never been that mad before. That's how mad they gonna get. You read this to them, they'll probably knock the Bible out your hand. Because it's in the New Testament and they say, we ain't got to keep the commandments according to the New Testament. Well, look at what it's saying in this 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2, I'm going to start at verse 1 and read through verse 6. My little children, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous, right? Hey, everybody ain't got this advocate. So you got to realize, hey, Jesus is on the right hand of the Father pleading our cause. Everybody ain't got that connect. So why not get on the right team? This is why, hey, you want to get on God's team, brothers and sisters. It's because everybody ain't got a person that's advocating on their behalf. Nah. So we see right here, it's like, hey, Jesus Christ the righteous, right? Verse 2, and he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only. And propitiation is mean atonement or sacrifice. He didn't just die for the nation of Israel only, but also for the sins of the whole world, right? Verse 3, and hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. But what commandments is he talking about? Right? Hey, if we all the way in the New Testament talking about commandments, he talking about the commandments we read in Deuteronomy 5. He talking about the commandments in Exodus 20. He talking about the commandments in Leviticus 11. He talking about the commandments in, I think, Deuteronomy 16 and 14. Leviticus 23. Like, he talking about those commandments. Letting you know, hey, this is how y'all know Christ. Because y'all are keeping his commandments, right? Verse 4. And he that saith, I know him, and keep not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Hey, I ain't write this. John put this in here. God gave John to put this inside of this Bible. But it's just clearly letting you know is that, hey, people say they know Jesus. They know Jesus, but they don't want to keep the Sabbath. They know Jesus, but they don't want to keep the dietary law. Guess what? The Bible says you're a liar. The truth ain't in you. Verse 5, but whoso keep his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. And he that saith he abide in him ought himself also so to walk even as he walked. So just like Christ walked, we supposed to be walking like Christ. That's why we call ourselves Bible Christians, because we follow after Christ according to what's written in the Bible. There's a difference in Bible Christians and Roman Christians. Roman Christians do what Rome do. They celebrate Christmas, Easter. They go to church on the first day of the week. They do things that are contrary to the Bible. Bible Christians, hey, we hold on to the Bible and we try to follow what's written according to the Bible to the best of our will or to the best of our ability. So we see is that, hey, we supposed to be walking like Christ did, right? Let's go over to Psalms 119. Psalms 119, because, hey, the only way you're going to be able to walk like Christ, you got to know something. See, again, man, this ain't going to just be something that happened by reason. No, you got to change your bad habits. You really do. You can't come to Christ as you are. The church has been lying all the while, brothers and sisters. The churches have been lying. I am here to let you know, if your church is telling you you can come as you are, that is a lie straight from the devil. It's a lie. You got to make a radical change. So now by you making this radical change, this is what's going to help you along the way. Psalms 119, 1 through 3, and it reads, "Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord." You see that? Hey, when you walk in the law of the Lord, hey, you are considered to be undefiled. So it says, blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Verse 2, "Blessed are they that keep his testimony and that seek him with a whole heart." So you got to realize, hey, you got to seek the Lord, brothers and sisters. You have to. Verse 3, "They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways." You see that? Hey, we just saw in what? 1 John. Hey, you got to walk just like Christ was walking. We walking in his ways. Because you got to realize, hey, it's a reward for all of this at the end of this, brothers and sisters. We ain't just doing this for, kudos and just be like, oh, that boy sure keep the Sabbath good. Nah, we not doing it for that. We doing it to get the reward. And the reward is going to give you that everlasting life, or the end of this title. Live. We want to live eternity. And that's the reward that you're going to receive after keeping these commandments and keeping this faith in Jesus. Again, it's a catch-22. You can't just be like, oh, I keep the commandments and ain't dealing with Jesus. Nah, you got to be keeping the commandments and dealing with Christ, because that's the one that's going to redeem you to the Father. Not by keeping the commandments. Now, that's a good start. That's a really good start. But you're going to need more than just that to get you over the hump. So even right here, we see it's that way. Hey, they also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways, right? I'm going to skip down and read 6 through 10 now. "Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments." You see that? Hey, you got to learn the Lord's righteous judgments. "I will keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly." Now check this out, verse 9. Because we came here for this, right? We're going to read 10 too, but look at what verse 9 says. "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways? By taking heed thereto according to thy word." This is how you're going to clean your ways, or this is how you're going to have to make a radical change right here. It's the word. The Bible is going to help you, or it's going to be your aid or your assistant in getting you to that point. Because you need this. Like, again, you ain't going to just fall out of the tree and be like, hey, man, I want to do it. Nah, you got to be taught something. You got to be taught. And we see in verse 9, it says what? Hey, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his ways? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments." Let's go over here now to Deuteronomy chapter 4. "Let me not wander from thy commandments." You see that? Because you don't want to wander from the commandments, brothers and sisters. This is why in the commandment it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Because you have to remember it, or you have to be reminded. You have to be reminded to keep the Sabbath day holy. Why you got to be reminded? Because a lot of us be forgetting. You may not think, oh man, they can't forget the Sabbath. Yes, they can. They really can. And they willfully doing it. Not just like, oh man, I forgot today's Saturday. Dang, I overslept, or I slept all the way to Sunday. Nah, they just, man, I got another agenda, man. Shoot, I got some business to take care of. You know, I gotta go get that overtime. My ox don't fail in the ditch. So I gotta get my ox out, man. Come on, man. Like, nah. That ain't what it's about. But look at this Deuteronomy chapter 4, though. This Deuteronomy chapter 4. You gotta remain obedient, brothers and sisters, all the way into death. You know what I mean? Like, you made a promise. The promise you made with God was that you're gonna do his will. Guess what's a part of God's will? Being obedient unto his word. So if you made this promise or if you made this agreement, hey, try your best to fight it and hold on to it. Try your best to fight it and hold on to it. Look at this Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4, and I'm going to read 5 through 14. Deuteronomy chapter 4, 5 through 14. And it reads, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You see that? Like when the nations look upon Israel, they supposed to be like, man, this is a wise and understanding people. But Israel is the laughing stock of all nations. The laughing stock of all nations. Hey, we been shot down. We been mocked on the, what's that? The Grammys. You know what I mean? Like, that's the conversation that has been going on. Grammys been over with about 3 weeks ago. But everybody's still talking about what Will Smith did to Chris Rock. You know, that's being mocked. Like, you know, the vice president, everybody laughing at her as a laughing stock. Israel is a laughing stock. We the laughing stock of all nations. Why? Because we're not adhering to the commandments of God. That's why. See, the nation's supposed to be looking upon Israel and be like, man, this is a wise and understanding people. But Israel ain't keeping the commandments, so we aren't considered to be so wise. So we see it's that way. It says in verse 7, it says, and for what nation is there so great who have God so near unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him? And we that, and what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments, so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? So you got to realize, like, the law is good. The law is good is because you got to realize, you know, the law keep things under order. See, this is why when God returns, he's going to set up his kingdom on this earth. It's going to be a different government than what we're being ruled by right now. Because the government we're being ruled by right now, hey, man, you know, they take bribes. You know, they write people off. They buy people out. You know, like it ain't no righteous judgment going on. Ain't none. Hey, sit down. Don't go out that door. Nah, okay, wait until you go in there. It says, let your dad know that he got to use the bathroom, Charles. Charles, let your dad know he got to use the bathroom. But it says, and what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Right? Because you got to realize, hey, God is setting up these statutes, judgments for us, for the betterment of us. Verse 9, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently. Pay attention to this. Lest thou forget the things which thy eyes have seen. You see that? Hey, you can forget. This is why you got to keep being reminded of keeping the commandments. Because you can forget. So it says, lest thou forget the things which thy eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart. You see that? This is why it's always so important for you to keep reading the word, for you to keep dealing with what thus say the Lord, because you got to realize, if you ain't dealing with it, you can forget. You can all of a sudden not be keeping the commandments at all. You can go back into partaking into the ways of the world. Now you've taken the Lord's name in vain. These things can happen, brothers and sisters. But you got to realize the aid that's going to assist you and help you out is by you opening up this Bible and reading it. Not just today. You got to do it more than just today. You know, today is the last day of the week. So, hey, if you want to start today, that's fine. But at least 3 times out the week, or at least 4, not just today. Because if you only read it once a week, hey, you can forget eventually after 2 months. You can begin to forget some things. Oh, man, are we supposed to be doing this? You know, I don't think it's that bad to just eat this. A little bit of gelatin in it. It might not be that bad of a gelatin. You know, you can forget. You can begin to stop fearing God. That's what can eventually happen, brothers and sisters. So even right here, we see it's that way. It says, and only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But look at what you're supposed to be doing. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. Especially the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire into the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye have heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even the 10 commandments. And he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither you go over to possess. So, hey, even in our captivity, we supposed to be keeping these commandments. We ain't supposed to be like, that was in Jerusalem. Because the Lord knew that he was sending Israel into captivity. So even by you being into captivity, you're supposed to still be observing by keeping these commandments. Let's go over to Psalms 19 real quick. Psalms 19. Because I keep saying, brothers and sisters, it's a reward with all of this. See, seriously, hey, I'll be honest, if it wasn't a reward, if it wasn't a reward for this, man, I wouldn't be standing up here. Like, for real, I'll be honest. I wouldn't be standing here. We'll probably be at, I don't know, Cheesecake Factory or somewhere today. I don't know. We'll probably be somewhere, probably be at the beach. Who knows? But nah, man, it's a reward. I'm here for the reward. I ain't here for the glory because that's given to God. I'm here for the reward. So I'm going to sign up. And by me signing up, I'm going to make sure I'm in attendance so I can get the reward at the sound of the 7th trumpet. Or hey, if I don't get at the sound of the 7th trumpet, I got to get up in the second resurrection. I just pray that I get the reward. That's why Paul was saying, hey, man, run for the prize. You know what I mean? Like, cross the finish line. You know, don't get 10 feet short of the finish line and decide that I don't want to serve God no more. Because people do that, brothers and sisters. This is why the title again is Keep the Commandments and Live. Look at this Psalm 19. Psalm 19, I'm going to read 7 through 9. The law of the Lord is perfect. You see that? The law of the Lord is perfect, right? Converting the soul, the testimony of the Lord is sure, making the wise the simple. So you got to realize you got to be converted right here in order for you to even adhere to the words of God. You got to be converted in the mind. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you come to class, you get baptized, you ain't got to get baptized. That don't always necessarily mean you converted right here in the mind. You know what I mean? Because when you convert it in the mind and you hear, like rain, sleet, hail, snow, you trying to keep that dog in the fight. You know what I mean? You kicking, scratching, clawing, you doing whatever it's going to take in order to please God. That's when you convert it. Because now you doing this for a reward that you don't even know if you're going to get or not. That's your faith. That's when you know you converted. Because your family members, they probably mocking you. Man, for real? Like, Jesus ain't going to return. I don't know why they teaching that. He's not coming back. You know, like, and you still going to roll with that? Like you being ridiculed within your household. You being ridiculed by your family members. You know? Because they think you insane because of the fact that, hey, you following this. When they think you insane, you converted. Like for real. Because what you doing is, hey, you proving to them, according to what's written, I'm walking this out. That's what you're doing. You walking this out, brothers and sisters. So the Bible is saying, hey, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Verse 8, the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. You see that? Hey, enlightening the eyes. We talking spiritual here. Enlightening the spiritual eyes. So now we turn the other side of the coin, looking at the aspect that, hey, when the end of the title says live, hey, we talking both physical and spiritual now. Because even right here, look, it says in verse 8, it says, the commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. You see that? Hey, it's righteous and altogether. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether, brothers and sisters. Let's keep going, though. Let's go over here now to Romans. Deja, you want to take over that? Oh, you good? Yeah, you can go if you want to. Yeah. If you don't want to stay, you got to stay. Deja, take over the All right, boss. Let's go to Romans real quick. Romans chapter 8. Romans 8. Let's read a couple of verses here. Romans chapter 8. And let's read 1 through 7. Romans chapter 8, 1 through 7, and it reads, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which walk after Christ, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. You see that? Like, there's no condemnation to you, brothers and sisters, when you walking behind Christ. We already read in what John 14 and 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. Not only that, he said, him and the Father, they're going to make an abode unto you. Right? Just letting you know is that, hey,